Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I know what time it is for you, so I thought I'd cover all bases. So obviously it's Father's Day, and over the past week or so, I've been really reflective. There's a lot going on in the world, Corona and protests and all that kind of thing. And it got me thinking about the father's role in society. When I was growing up, my dad wasn't around. Actually, that was the same thing for most of my friends. So we kind of brought each other up. I decided to interview some of my brothers to see what else I could learn. I hope you enjoy 15 minutes of fatherhood.
Get on with it because I know how it works.
um,
Don't say anything else, just get on with it. Ask your questions.
How many questions you got?
I've got about 8.
Oh, piece of piss.
Yeah, here you go. I'm the pro at this stuff anyway. So that's all.
Yeah, you got that bit.
No, you're a joke. I didn't get
We just start with the easy questions.
What does it mean to be a father? To be a father, it will be to be a protector and a provider. And to be a father is love, really. So you have something that, you can give your undivided love to.
It's hard to put into words, if I'm honest. It is everything to me, personally. I'm quite hands-on as a father. And that's because my father wasn't really there. So when I wake up in the morning, I get ready for nursery. I drop her off at nursery. And then when I get back just for her bedtime routine. So that's what we begin. And it's that's like my bonding sessions are in the morning and in the evening. And we get our little bit of father-daughter time. So it's everything to me. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
It's everything, innit? I mean, I had my child when I was, my first child when I was 19 years old. And it gave me purpose. It gave me something to get up for in the morning. It's a bit difficult, obviously, where we grew up in Hackney, to give yourself something to get up for and to something to achieve. But my daughter at the time meant everything to me, and she was the reason I'd done so well in my career, because I wanted the best for her and I wanted a different life for her. And obviously after that, I've had 4 boys after, and all 4 of them are splitting images of me, a little bit of their mum. But when I see myself in them, it makes me realise that I have a job to do. They are my job. I work, but obviously taking care of my kids is my job at the moment.
As soon as she said, I'm pregnant, it was it. Like, everything changed. I was hands-on with everything. So from that moment, it was like, I'm doing everything. I'm going to be the father figure in this household and whatnot.
Like, when I had my first child, straight away, because you don't know what's going to happen. You anticipate so many different things. And like when the baby does come, and then it's your first child. So that in itself, just having a being there in your hand, or having a person, a small person at that you have to now look after and provide for and make sure it's safe and sound and everything else, which is overwhelming for anybody. But I think so at that time, it was like, okay, so this is a fatherhood. I have something I have to look after now and nurture and teach and show the right way in how to do these sort of things. And that's your first reaction. And I think it's when something happens, like they're sick or they're in pain or they hurt themselves, anything like that, that's when it really comes at you like, oh my God, like it's my job to look after them and not allow them to be in danger. And some, you just don't have control of all those things. So I think just not being able to control everything about your child, being their father, that's what makes you know what fatherhood's about, because it frightens you so much that, you don't want anything to ever happen to them, which is never the case, because, we've all fallen over and hurt our head, arm scratched, this, that, fight, whatever. I think when they're in pain, that there's something that you can't prevent from happening or you can't solve or whatever, that's when that real father for me kicked in, like, oh my God, like, this is my job.
When we went down there and, she was in the room, they wanted to send us home. We didn't want to go home because she was in so much pain. And then literally Ren just had the desire to push. And it was 2 pushes, and the nurse said, "All right, the head's out." I was like, "Whatever. I've seen this on movies. It's not 2 pushes." And she pushed one more time, and that baby was there. And it wasn't until probably I cut the cord and I held her. That moment you'll never get back. So that's probably the moment when I realised, I've got a baby and it's 100%, 100% dependent on me.
I'll probably say I was probably about 10, 11. Remember working in the youth club and some of the youth workers just putting an arm around me, stuff that I didn't know how to deal with. They could see the emotion in me, and they helped me to channel it the right way. I was so young, and there's a lot of pain in it. Obviously, as young black man, there's a lot of anger because you feel like your life's going to be a lot different to others, and they just showed me, look, you can achieve what you want, especially wanting to be a footballer. They saw a talent in me. As I say, I was about 11 years old, and they helped me to grow that talent, and they persisted with me. And as I say before, I'm so thankful and blessed that I had those sort of people in and around me.
I'd say the earliest time that I had kind of a concept of what dad was probably in primary school, because I missed out on quite a bit. And if we just, look at it from a financial point of view, I remember my whole class going to Camp Azans and my mum not being able to afford for me to go personally. And I feel like if my dad was there, that wouldn't have happened. She would have got that extra help. And that's just one financial aspect of it. There's a lot that I missed out on, not having a father figure. Even a simple thing like shaving. No one taught me how to shave. Approaching women. My dad might have actually been really good at that. But, I never got that from my dad. And that's, those are just like little things that I never got.
A father is not just obviously by blood. I think it's also the love someone gives to you and the love you receive. And we had quite a few of that when I was younger, and I appreciate every one of them, because as I grow up, I find myself saying the same things they're saying and passing my knowledge on to the next generation, and I give thanks for all of them.
A lot of black boys anyway, they would say, I grew up without my father and stuff like that. And can I put myself in that category? Possibly yes, because I wasn't in the same household as my father. So does that count? But I spent a lot of time around my grandparents and my dad's side of the family. One of my aunts was really close to me, took me around and stuff. So I would go there periodically and weekends here and there and things like that. And so I knew that I had a father. When your grandparents say, "Oh, your dad, they're there, or your dad's at the shop, or your dad," because we used to own the shop, your dad, da, da. So I was to go and see, like when you're being a dad, you're always so busy. So your dad would say, son, you want chocolate, you want this, here's some money, which is great. As a young kid, you get 10 or 20 pounds. You're great. You put it in your pocket, you go home, even though your mum's going to take it, but you know that. But, you feel good. But, so you know that you have a father as such. But I think growing up, whereas my mum had I won't say remarried, my mum got married. And so having a stepdad come into the house that, he's not my dad, but he's treating me like his son. And, when you see them day to day, you wake up, they're in the house, you go to bed, they're in the house, you can't get out of it. So obviously he was my father, or he grew me as a father would grow a son. So my first thing is when my mum got married, because it was such a big event, and those kind of things stick into your mind. You're a young kid, this, that's going on, all these different things are happening. So I think when my mum got married, and then obviously my stepdad had come over from Jamaica and stuff, and he's the father of my brothers and sisters and stuff like that. So I think just growing up with him in the house made me know what a father is, because, he was a good man, he used to work hard. And, he done what he could do. No one's perfect in, certain ways. So I think, from a young age, from when I was about 10, I knew what it meant to have a father in the house.
I'm just trying to teach my boys the fundamentals, respect, punctuality, treat people how you would like to be treated. One of my biggest things is be the man you needed when you was younger. So I'm hoping as they get older and they learn from me, and hopefully I'm teaching them the right stuff. It's learning as we go, because obviously not all of us had our fathers at a younger age. So I'm trying to instill discipline and respect are the major thing for me. I think if you respect everyone and you're disciplined in what you want to achieve, I think doors will open for you. I don't think no one's going to open doors for us. So it's important that they have those two values and they continue to have that as they get older.
I want her to to feel like she's in the family and she's a part of a strong unit. When me and Michael were growing up, it was me, Michael, and Mum. But I want Sienna to know that me and Mum are there for her. You know, hopefully she has a little boy, but yeah, it's just like I want her to get the family unity feeling. I want her to know what unconditional love is.
I knew nothing going in to be a father when I was younger. I mean, I was 19 years old when I had my girl, as I said before, and it was all new to me. If I knew anything, even changing a nappy, like these are stuff that you learn as you go along and you perfect it and you make sure, because it's important that your child's always safe. And I think even in the early stages, it's quite important to make sure they're safe and that you show them love. Showing them love is probably something that was inside me. Patience. I wish I knew about patience. I think patience is a massive one. I think initially you expect your child to react to everything you say, do. You're the dad. You want them to see you as a dad, but initially they see you as a man. So it's important that as a man, I became someone that they could trust, someone that they could respect. And I think with respect and trust, I think kids give you a sort of respect and trust as well. So yeah, I think just that I wish I knew how to be patient at the beginning. I think patience was massive, and for me, I probably never had that patience when I was younger.
How do I feel as a black man raising my daughter in this era? Amazing in terms of what we've accomplished. I've found my queen. In terms of being a black man, I feel proud that with, you know, when you look at a lot of black families, you don't see the parents together. You don't see a solid foundation for a family. So I feel proud that I've done that, we've done that, and we're stronger together.
It's scary, isn't it? It's scary when you see everything out there, and people always say about the marches and that. And I would love to be at the marches, but I'm too busy raising 4 black men, making sure that when I'm gone, they understand the values and they understand how to conduct themselves. First of all, I used to get stopped by police all the time, and I think just pure the way I conducted myself, the way I spoke to them, I think I got away with a lot. Just how I responded to them. So I'm trying to make sure they're intelligent kids, intelligent boys first of all, so they can see each scenario and deal with a scenario a certain way. It's not every scenario that you can handle the same way. So just trying to get them acknowledge certain things that are around them and then deal with it accordingly. Because I think especially as a young black man, maybe we don't get away with the same sort of things that a white young man would get away with, and that's nothing to do with them, but it's more to do with us. And I'm hoping by the time they reach a young men that things have changed and we've opened doors for them.
My favourite thing about being a father would be, it's just the fact that you know that you've brought life into this life. And my least favourite thing about being a parent is when your kids start changing. And like they start getting certain ages, they start changing. As in like, you couldn't open the door without one leg. That was it, the left or the right? The left leg or whatever it was. But yeah, without them hanging on your legs and things like that. But then when they get a bit older, they're into the phone, kind of, hi dad, that kind of thing.
Not being able to be in control over every situation. I get really anxious when they say they're going out. I need to be in control over everything. Where you going? Make sure you come back. And when they're out in the big world, you don't have any control. And as we've been watching recently, the repercussions are too high, and my heart can't handle anything happening to my kids. So I always like to be in total control over it. And obviously, I don't live with my girl, and she obviously lives in Hackney. So every time she calls, I'm a bit fearful of that phone call, that something's happened. And yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else. I think more to do with my control over them, making sure that they're all safe and they're all in my arms where I can see them. The love they give me at times is unconditional. Yeah, when you're in your bad place and your child comes up to you and they give you a hug, they don't even know your situation. It's almost like God sent them downstairs to ask if you're all right, and they come sit down and they speak to you. And many a times I've been playing football and felt like giving up, and I've come home and they've been there, and I realised why I'm doing it and the reason why I'm pushing myself and I'm working hard. And the love that your kids give you, for me, is everything, and it's the reason I do everything, and I wouldn't change that for the world. Even as I'm speaking right now, it puts a smile on my face because I know the love they have for me, and the love they have for me is through the love I've given them.